So I'm going to go back to the tent because there's no point in sitting out here if crows are crowing and there's no gobbling, and I'm yelping and there's no gobbling. So this is my turkey setup. Wooden stool, I think it's 11 by 14 by... Welcome to Time by the Tent. Thank you for joining me on another trip up to the land. Friday afternoon, it's turkey camp time. We'll go out and see if we can harvest a eastern wild turkey on our property. I've heard turkeys on the property and around the property. The last was up there last weekend and 2 weeks prior to that. So there are birds in the area. It is going on early mid-May, and I don't know, driving up here, you just see a lot of turkeys in fields, a lot of toms with hens. In Wisconsin, we are legally allowed to hunt turkeys all day long. Where I'm originally from in Illinois, as of the last time I looked, I believe it's, I saw it earlier this year, that you only can hunt them, I think, until 1 or 1:30 in the afternoon to allow the birds to have opportunity to mate and breed. Wisconsin is different, so we can hunt all day long. So I'll get up to the camp as quickly as possible, get things unpacked, what I need to unpack, and then head right to the woods. This is going to be different than deer hunting. Deer hunting, you go to a stand and you wait for the deer to come to you, if you're not familiar with how turkey hunting works. Turkey hunting, you go and you listen for, you make a hen noise, or a hen cluck or a purr or call, and you wait for the gobbler to respond to it, and then you try to coax the gobbler to you or away from the hens it currently has, because it's more interested in the single hen that's doing a lot of calling. In nature, it is completely opposite. In nature, the gobbler gobbles when it hears a hen, and the hen will go to the gobbler and be part of its group, and then he will try to keep those hens as his and not allow them to go to other gobblers or toms. You can also harvest jakes, which are yearling or teenage, so to speak, male birds. So we will see. I'll see what I can get on film. The goal is to knock a bird down, to get a bird, not to try to film the hunt, but I will try to see what I am able to capture, and we'll go from there. Very little wind, which is good to hear the turkeys, if I can get a hold of one. So one of the new additions to the tent is a what to do spinner. Got off Etsy. Saw one of these on a hunting show in the late 90s on a PBS program. Had never seen one since, but we'll have to see what we need to do here. We're gonna go hunting. You can see, wash the car, go hunting, cut the grass, go hunting, visit relatives, go hunting, clean the garage, go hunting. We're gonna go hunting, so let's go turkey hunting. Okay, off to the woods we go, using a Remington 870 12 gauge 3.5 inch nitro turkey shot. So gonna get across the little trail here and then go over there and make some calls and see if I can hear anything. It's very quiet right now, so I will see you over there. Didn't hear anything. Not really surprised. It's noon right now. So I'm going to go that way. And there's a cut in the property, logging or something years ago. I'm going to find a tree, set up next to it, and do some calls that way and just kind of move throughout the property. We're getting pops of higher wind gusts, but we'll go and try this and see if we can make a bird come to us without actually hearing it, because if they're subdominant, they're not going to gobble, most likely. A lot of crows. See if I can hear any gobbles. Nothing, no activity. I'm going to take the decoy and go that way. 150 yards up this cut. It's starting to grow in. Because that's on that side is where all the deer stands are. It's a little more open. So we'll see if I can stir anything up over there or hear something. Rain's moving in this afternoon and into this evening. It's supposed to be really nice tomorrow. It's 60 degrees right now. 12:30 currently. Setting up in a different spot here. Got the decoy right there. I just did a series of yelps and haven't heard anything. Here's my setup. You want to try to set up in the shade if you can, so it really breaks up your outline, even though you're in camouflage. So I'm just going to sit here for a while and see if anything comes this way. Heard anything. So I'm going to head back to the tent, unload the car, put the official turkey camp sign up. So a tradition which I started last November for deer camp, Holly made a sign and we hung it up. We're going to do the same for turkey camp. I've got tags for the next 3 weeks till the season closes out here in Wisconsin. So we are going to officially open turkey camp 2024 and see if we can bag 3 birds. We hear them in the morning, as you saw earlier. Went out, didn't expect to see anything. That's why I kind of sat and called and decided this was more important than just setting out in the woods and seeing nothing. I'll go back out in this evening a little bit before dark and see if I can rustle up one. But turkey camp is officially underway. Rain has passed the sprinkle shower. Sun is out. Wind has picked up. I don't expect to hear anything right as the rain was sprinkling. There was a couple of crows going back and forth, and there was no gobbling in response to that. But I will go over there because, as of at least right now, I can't shoot a turkey in the tent. You can possibly shoot a deer at, what is it, Dunkin' Donuts? No, Noodles and Company. Anyway. I will see you over there when I get established. So I haven't heard anything. I've walked the edge of the property line on one side, halfway across the property and coming up the center, and called a handful of times here and there, and haven't had any responses, which is what I kind of expected, but I've got to try anyway. Hopefully in the morning it'll be more lively. I'm at the place where I harvested those the 3 deer last year. I'm 30 yards from that stand right now. So I will meet you back at the tent unless something exciting happens. Back at the tent. Oh! Rain's just now picking up. So I walked another 100 yards from last time I talked to you. Then I just sat in the woods and just listened. Made a few calls, but just listened. Had hawks, had crows making noise, trying to listen to see if turkey would gobble because of that. Never heard anything. So we will re-rack and go in the morning. I will be surprised if I don't hear anything in the morning. The last 2 times I've been up here in the mornings, I have heard at least one gobbler. So, good morning. 52 in the tent right now. I got really warm in the sleeping bag, so I didn't worry about stoking the stove halfway through the night. 4:30 a.m. Sun's just getting ready to come up. A lot of bird activity outside. There is a wind, so it'll be a little bit of a challenge if there are birds in the area to locate. And I will update you as we progress through the morning. Nothing yet. It was windy. Then it got real calm. I've sat up here and just kind of seeing if I can make something happen. As walking through the woods, I could hear a bird way, way back off in the distance over here, beyond the property line. And over here, about 40 yards, it starts to go down, and there's that big lake pond, swampy area. That's the back side of the property. So when it got real calm, I called and didn't get any response. Several times I called. I think I had a hen somewhere back off in the distance there respond, but that turkey, that gobbler, has moved on. So I did find a deer antler. I threw it underneath one of the tree stands, so I'm going to pick that up and then head to the other side of the property. I'll show you the antler later and see if, because that's 175, 225 yards that way, and if I can't hear the turkey gobble, they can't hear me as a hen yelping. So I'm going to regroup, go over there, see if I can figure out anything. It's only 6 o'clock right now in the morning. It is starting to get quite windy, so that will hamper this adventure a little bit. Been sitting here for about 45 minutes. I've yelped, and there's been a lot of crows crowing, and there's been no signs of gobbling anywhere. There's just that one way off in the distance this morning. I mean, way off. Now, I don't know if it was a half mile or more or what. The wind has its spots. It'll get real windy and then it'll calm back down. So I'm going to go back to the tent because there's no point in sitting out here if crows are crowing and there's no gobbling, and then I'm yelping and there's no gobbling. So I'll reevaluate, go back and eat breakfast and reevaluate how I want to tackle this today, and then do some of the projects around the tent in between. Alright, walked a little bit more since the last time I talked to you. Didn't hear anything, called a couple more times. Kind of hard to make a turkey come when there's no turkeys there, or a turkey that won't respond. So, the antler I found is a good size. That's I'd say 2.5-year-old. It's gotten eaten up by, I would assume, mice. So that has to be a this year or a spring drop, as clean as it is and as little chewed up as it is. Chewed up a little bit there. Now if I had a matching pair to it, I certainly would not use it as rattling antlers because those two tines are going to break. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's a very nice I'd say 2.5-year-old. And it was like that in the ground. It was right at sunbreak whenever I was walking to set up on the turkeys that I heard way in the distance, and it's very bleached. The 7-pointer that I got harvested with firearm, it was really chocolate because it had been rubbing on so many pine trees. So, alright, we'll get breakfast. Well, had supper, listened to see if I could spot or locate any turkeys. There was owls that was hooting, but I think I heard one like way off in the distance. So we'll get up about 4:30 and go out for another swing at it and see if we hit or we strike out this weekend. Good morning. Got up right before sunrise. I've not heard a thing, not a gobble, nothing. So I came to the backside of the property and just sat up in with the possibility of luring something to my location. A jake that doesn't gobble and subdominant. Tom. Well, at least I got a better shot of harvesting a turkey out here than I do in the tent. No wind at all. A lot of bird activity, like songbirds. But really disappointed that I haven't heard any gobble whatsoever. At least yesterday morning I heard one way in the distance. Well, it appears that my first weekend of turkey hunting or turkey camp is not successful. You buy the tags, and with turkey hunting here, and I think at least the few states that I'm aware of that does it uh, in this fashion, is the tags are good for 1 week increments. My tag was good last Wednesday till this Tuesday, and then the Wednesday the tag is good. I got another tag that's valid, and then Tuesday through Wednesday, Tuesday through Wednesday. So you buy the tags with the intentions of using the tag in order to harvest an animal, and then the tag's no longer valid and kind of money wasted on your end, but it does go to the DNR for projects if you feel that they are doing adequate things with the money that is being used to buy tags and licenses and all that. Starting to get windy now. There was just nothing in the woods. The concept of turkey hunting in the spring is you locate the gobbler, the male bird, by listening to it gobble in the morning, whether by an owl hooting or a crow crowing, or you mimic those sounds, and the anxiety level is so high in the bird because it's breeding and it's trying to breed as many hens as possible that it just automatically responds. And then you set up on the bird and call it in the intentions of harvesting. In real life, the gobbler gobbles to the hen when it hears the hen yelp, and that's a sign of come over here, and the hen will go to the gobbler. In hunting, we're reversing the cycle and making the gobbler so frustrated that that hen is not coming that he says, "Why aren't you coming?" and goes and investigates, and then you harvest the gobbler. So we've got next weekend and the weekend after that, and that will conclude turkey camp. And maybe we can walk out of the woods with at least one bird. I mean, no, it's not a bad day when you're in the woods and as pretty as it is and as quiet as it is, but you always, as a hunter, intend to responsibly, ethically harvest an animal to eat. And thanks for joining me here up at the land on an extended weekend, Thursday afternoon, for the second week of turkey camp. Going to see if we can harvest a bird this either this afternoon, Thursday, or Friday morning, Saturday morning, or Sunday morning. We're going to see what we can do. Driving up here, drove through rain. It has rained here. It doesn't show that it's going to rain anymore today. Very quiet. The trees have just flourished, and over the last 3 weeks are almost completely filled out now. On the way up here, saw 21 turkeys in 7 different fields, and 2 were on the side of the road that had got hit by cars. So I don't know. I'm going to get the stuff unpacked. It's 51 degrees, overcast, very chilly and damp. There. It is time for me to go out. I'm just going to go out, sit down, do some calling, see if I can make a bird come in. Middle of the afternoon turkey hunting, very different than early morning. especially if you don't see the birds or know that the birds are there. And sit there for an hour or so, and then come back and probably finish that up there. But I got to give it a try today, and then we'll go and listen for birds tonight, and then go out in the morning regardless if I hear birds or not, and Saturday morning and Sunday morning, and unless I get a bird before then. Got my decoy set up there. I've called 2 times now, just sitting here waiting. Returned back to camp. Did not hear anything or see anything except for birds and a couple of red squirrels. Didn't expect to middle of the afternoon, unless you're setting up on, you got a field, you see a bunch of birds out there, you can sneak in on the edge and then call them to you. With 40 acres of pine timber, unless you know where they're at or hear them, to me it's going to be very difficult. So we got an hour and a half before the sun really starts to go down, starts to get dark. Light wind, so we will see what we hear this evening. Didn't hear any turkeys this evening. Did have a couple owls hooting, but I'll get up at 4:30 and get out and sit for a while, do the thing. I don't know what else there is to do. They're not here, but if they are, maybe I'll. Good morning. I think turkey hunting for the day is probably done. It's about 7 o'clock right now. Now where I'm at is, let me turn you around. There's the American flag, barbecue grill, and tent. And then you can also see right in there, you can see the car. So the reason why I am halfway between the car and the tent, or a little higher than halfway, is right at sunbreak, across the road here, that's where the car's parked, is on our property. The road divides it, and then there's property, 2 different properties on that side. There was 1, 2, possibly 3 different turkeys gobbling. Started out with 1 this morning. I went to head over to the other side of the property where I've been previously, and I just stood there and listened. There was nothing. So when I hooted, I could get a gobbler to respond over here. So I decided, why not? Let's try to sit here and get them to come up. Because in February when I was up here, you could see where they had walked across and scratched all the leaves up, looking for bugs and nuts and stuff, or food. But then there'd be 1 way over there and 1, maybe 2 way over there. I don't know how many, because I don't know the terrain. And it was really nice. I could yelp and they would respond, but they just wouldn't come. And I've got the decoy, as you saw, right there. So heard turkeys this morning. Heard at least 1, maybe 2. I'm going to sit here and try to call a few more times. It sounded like they were getting farther and farther away every time they gobbled. So they clearly had no interest. So we're getting better. See, I talked about this last week. Turkey season, you got a week to make a harvest, and then your tags are no longer valid. With deer hunting, it was like bow. You got middle of September to about the middle of November to get a deer, and then firearms happens for 9 days. And then if you choose to, and you haven't filled your tag with archery, you can go longer. But by that point, it's so cold, it's not even fun. I did have the Merlin Bird app up and on the phone, and had over 20 different birds in like 30 minutes that it had identified, so that was neat. But I won't have far to go to the tent, right? About a 30-second walk. But I'm going to sit here a little bit longer, call a few more times. I don't think that it's going to make a difference. So this is more positive for tomorrow and possibly Sunday if I don't get one tomorrow, that they are back in the area. They weren't here last week. That's for sure. Really haven't done anything this evening. Bedtime now. I'll see you in the turkey woods in the morning. Maybe we'll be successful. Good morning. I'm back at the spot I was yesterday morning. The road where the car is parked, in between the car and the tent. There's the flag there. Barbecue grill right over the hill there. Had two birds at some distance over here across the road gobbling for about 15-20 minutes, and now nothing. It's 5:18. Sunrise is like 4:45, and they have just, no matter what I do, I don't get a response. Mosquitoes are really bad, so I'm going to pick up and go to the other side, even though there's no sign. That was exciting. I have a buck starting to grow antlers coming behind me. For a second I thought maybe that's a turkey coming in behind me and not making any noise. And then I grabbed the phone. I kind of did a pretty good job of filming that on the phone, and then I did a reel. It ran down, and then it came back up, and I mean, it was within 30 yards of me. I'm just sitting here, haven't heard anything. I heard one gobble since the last time I talked to you. I got up, walked to the trail, called across the trail into the backside of the property, nothing. Oh, now the deer's down by the water down there. And then came back and sat here and heard one gobble, and I've called and I've got nothing. So that's the way it goes, I guess. Why the turkeys are only over there and not over here. I've heard them over here like 3 weeks ago. So, I don't know. I'm going to get up here in a minute and go fix breakfast. That deer is still down in that area looking at me. Well, it's kind of a disappointment. Not so much in the woods getting to hunt, being on your own property getting to hunt, but because of the way the system works out. I bought 3 tags and a license. One tag is no longer valid. That was last week. I've got one more opportunity tomorrow morning, and that tag's no longer valid. So it's, in one sense, wasting money on tags that's not used. But if you don't buy the tags, you don't have the opportunity to go out. So it's the way it is. We don't own enough land in order to get free landowner permits. That's why purchasing tags is what we're doing. Good morning. I'm still at camp here. You can see I stand over here at first sunlight and listen to where the turkeys are gobbling, and that will determine where I go. It's 5 a.m. It's been getting light for the last 18-22 minutes. Have not heard a turkey at all. So it doesn't make any sense for me to go wander in the woods and do a half-mile walk round trip to sit there and call when there's no turkeys, when I've heard turkeys the last 2 mornings way over there on the other property, not our property, but there is nothing. So I'm just going to sit here and just kind of listen. I've called a couple of times as well, hooted, nothing. So it kind of goes with the current trend of turkey camp week 1, and this will conclude most likely week 2. I'll get breakfast made and pack up. But I'll stay here for a little while longer. So right after I got done talking to you, way off in the distance, like over the tent and on the other property or beyond properties, heard 2 gobbles, so I came back and sat where I've sat the last 2 mornings. It's been about 25 minutes. I've called. There's been crows crowing and other noise that would have made the turkey gobble. So on Friday morning it was about an hour worth of 2 or 3 birds. Yesterday it was about 15 minutes of, I think, 1 bird, and this morning it was 2 gobbles, and that was it. So that's the way it's going to be. I'll pick up things here, head to the tent, which is just, I can throw a baseball and hit the tent. I'm so close. So put the flag down last night, but you can see the barbecue grill and the tent from where I currently sit. I do have the decoy out there. So I will, so this is my turkey setup. Wooden stool, I think it's 11 by 14 by 6 inches off the ground. Made that out of old deck boards, and then the gun rest that wraps around my knee, made that out of some scrap lumber, some carpet, and an old bike helmet strap. So I didn't have to buy either one of those. The stool was probably, I don't know, $20 to $30, and the knee rest is a good 10 to 15. So that's what I use for my setup for turkey hunting, the things that I make, so I don't have to spend any money. Still 0 on the board. 2 tags no longer valid. I've got 1 more for next weekend. We got 2 days to try it, and we'll see what happens for week and 3rd and final week for me for turkey camp. Good morning. Last opportunity for turkey hunting. Spring turkey hunting 2024. Got up at 4, been out here just sitting around the campfire, which is not going for the last 30 minutes. I've heard one way off in the distance that way. I mean, way off. And there's one in the distance that way where they were last weekend. And it's been a while since I've heard them gobble. And when they do, it is so far away. If they were closer, I'd set up and try to call them in like I did last week, but I'm just being realistic. That doesn't look like it's going to happen this year, harvesting a turkey. Turkey camp looks like it's going to be an 0-4-3 attempt. So that's where we're at. If anything changes prior to getting breakfast made, I'll share it with you, but I may walk down by the car there and give a call or two and see. I expect nothing. We got big rains moving in this afternoon and tonight. So and it's the last 2 days of the season. I need to work on getting tags for the first 2 weeks of the season next year, or 3, So I came down halfway between the car and the tent and called, and I couldn't get a response, but a couple of crows made noise, and way off in the distance I could hear one, but like last week's scenario, not interested in the call, not interested in responding to my call. So it looks like turkey camp 2024 is a 0-for-3, as I will not be going out in the morning. Big rains are coming in this afternoon and this evening, and that'll be all for this year. So it's been fun, but unsuccessful. Unlike deer camp, where I was able to harvest one with a bow and 2 with a firearm, and used all 3 tags I had available. A lot more meat on a deer than a turkey, but still I paid for the tags and a couple of calls, decoy, and it'll be an investment for next year. So early on in the season, when I didn't have tags, turkeys would be gobbling on what would appear to be on our property. Back there was 2, and real close there was one over here. And that was early on in the season, probably first or second week of the season. This is the end of May now, and all the birds the last 2 weeks have been over there, which is not our property, and not our property, and beyond not our property. And I have not been able to encourage them to come over. So, just the way it is. Thank you so much for joining me on Turkey Camp 2024. Unfortunately, it wasn't like deer camp, and we'll try again next year. But let's put 0 in the comments below if you've made it this far. 0 for the number of turkeys I was able to harvest this year. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.